Zach Hyman. Mark Spector, Sportsnet. Welcome to town. Just, I guess, your thoughts. You come here where, everybody in town says you're going to be Connor McDavid's winger. You're here for, if not the rest of your career, a good chunk of it. What's it like being an Edmonton Oiler for now and for the long future?
No, thanks. Yeah, no, it's very exciting for me. I got here a couple weeks ago, but it feels like I've been an Oiler for a little while now because I got to train with Connor and Darnell and Warren and Devin out in Toronto. So it's been great. It's a great summer, and it's exciting. It's an exciting new chapter of my life and my career, and excited to be an Oiler and to get started here.
Do you have Olympic aspirations, and playing next to Connor McDavid, those aspirations get shaped in any way?
I think everybody has Olympic aspirations. I think that it would be obviously a huge honor to be selected to Team Canada. I think as a kid, everybody watches the Olympic Games, and especially when NHL players are there. So for sure. But right now I'm focused on the Oilers and this team and getting settled in and starting my career as an Oiler.
Zach, Jim Matheson from Post Media. Can you talk to playing with Austin Matthews or John Tavares, now perhaps playing with Connor McDavid, as to how they are different sort of players? And you did play quite a few games against Connor, so can you talk to the differences?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to get asked this a lot. The Austin, Connor, Johnny. But obviously in my career, I've been fortunate to play with some really talented players. And what I've learned is that each player is really unique, and they each have a very, very unique skill set. Austin was a lot different than John, and both of them are a lot different than Connor. And I've only played against Connor. I haven't had the chance to play with him in an actual game. We've practiced here in the scrimmages and whatnot, but it's not real hockey yet. And it's going to get real pretty soon. So I'm excited to kind of learn his tendencies and see what it's like to be on his team.
One last question. You came up as a role player grinder type, and now do you shake your head and say, geez, 7-year contract, big money, I've come a long way?
No, I think as a player, you don't look too far ahead. You kind of just are in the moment. So when I started out my career, it was more thinking, how do I stick in the NHL? How can I be an everyday NHL player? And then every year, once you become an everyday NHL player, you're like, how can I get better? How can I continue to progress my game? How can I help the team win? And that's kind of always been my mindset. And now it's, how can I take the next step in my career? How can I help this team get further? How can we win a Stanley Cup? And that's kind of always been my mindset. So it's tough to kind of take myself out of it and look back. And obviously when you do that, it's pretty unique and cool. But for me, it's always kind of being in the moment.
Hi, Zach. Over here, Daniel Newman from The Athletic. I'm just curious, correct me if I'm wrong, but you, other than your college career, you've lived one place in your entire life. And I'm just wondering what the transition has been like for you to make a new home here.
Yeah, no, I grew up in Toronto, and then I went to school, obviously, at the University of Michigan for 4 years, and then came back home and played in Toronto. So this is the first time in my NHL career that I'm moving teams and going to a new city, and it's definitely exciting for me. I think that early in my career, it was really nice to have my friends and my family at all the games and being there and supporting me. And now I'm excited to be somewhere else where you don't have all the extra, you have people asking you for all these things, or you have, it's always nice when you go to dinner at your parents or in-laws, but here I can really just focus on my young family and focus on hockey and coming to the rink every day and doing and helping this team. So I'm just really excited about the change in lifestyle and the change of hockey teams, obviously.
And I'm somebody myself with a young child. Is it interesting to kind of move somewhere and get baby's life kind of set up, or young child's life in a new place?
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of moving new stuff. It's a lot of getting the crib arranged and all and making sure that his daily his schedule is on because otherwise it's a nightmare, as I'm sure you know. But he's adjusted really well. My wife's been great, and I really wanted to be settled in before training camp, and we're settled, and we have our house and everything, and we're ready to roll.
A lot's obviously, and you've already been asked about it, but about playing with Connor. But it just seems like there's the potential for you to kind of allow the coaching staff to have the flexibility and kind of build out the lineup. Do you see yourself as somebody that can kind of be a spark plug for a lot of different lines and kind of create new dynamics for wherever you're able to go in the lineup?
Yeah, for sure. I think last year, if you look at Toronto, I played on, I don't think I had one steady line throughout the year. I played on a number of different lines. And we'll leave that up to, you know, Tip and the coaching staff to kind of figure out where I fit in. But I'll bring the same work ethic and intensity as I do if I'm playing with Connor or Leon or whoever else. So it's just exciting for me to come into this organization. There's so much talent here and so many good players.
Zach, at what point in the process, it's Jack Michaels, by the way, play-by-play for Rogers Sportsnet. I was just wondering, at what point in the process did you kind of mentally turn the page and really come to grips with the fact that maybe Toronto was not going to be your best option? And obviously there's appeal on the Edmonton side, but for you, was there trepidation about leaving, you know, what you had? Because it's not like you were playing with dog meat in Toronto.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think early on in the negotiations with Toronto, I was really focused on Toronto and trying to get something done there. And then once we kind of realized that it wasn't going to work out, I asked for permission to speak to other teams, and that was kind of a little bit of closure for me to say, okay, you know, Toronto's kind of out of the picture. And I told my wife and my agent, we spoke about it, and I didn't want to have Toronto on the back of our mind when we went out to look at other teams. And right away, once we did that, I knew from a hockey standpoint, Edmonton was the perfect fit for me, and from being able to win a Stanley Cup picture, Edmonton was a great situation. I could envision that team winning, and I wanted to go to a team that could win. And then for us, it was my wife's never been to Edmonton, so when you make a decision like that, it's not just a hockey decision, it's a life decision. It's where you're going to spend the next 7 years of your life, and I have a young family. So I really wanted to get her comfortable with the decision, and that's why we took the trip out to Edmonton, and she was able to see the city, and it was her first time out in Edmonton and see where our son would grow up and where our future kids would grow up, and I thought it was really important, and once she was comfortable with that, it was an easy decision.
And then to piggyback a little bit on something that Daniel mentioned, did your experience in Ann Arbor play any factor in this, in the sense that I'm from the East Coast too, and sometimes, you know, anything west of Cleveland, anything west of a certain point, you can't even imagine, but did Ann Arbor kind of factor back in, knowing that, hey, you could have a great time, great experience in places beyond your comfort zone? Oh,
for sure. I think definitely. I spent 4 years away from home, and it was comfortable. I have a very supportive family, so they're going to be coming out to visit a ton for home opener. We got a lot of tickets I need to reserve. So, and the beauty about being in Canada is it's all domestic travel, so it's a lot easier. And especially with COVID stuff, it'll be easy for my family to get out here. But yeah, for me, my wife's here, my kid's here, and it's just exciting.
Hi, Zach. Over here.
Hey.
I'm just wondering, you play with Connor McDavid, who's a very different type of player. Do you have to be a bit of a chameleon and adjust the way you play, or is it you do you and it'll all work itself out?
No, I think, you know, what I've learned with playing with really good players is that you don't change the way that you play too much. You can learn and adapt to the kind of tendencies that the players you're playing with, and with elite players, you know, what I've learned is that those guys want the puck, and if you can get them the puck, they're going to be pretty happy. So, you know, I think it'll just be about figuring out timing, and he's so fast and unique that just figuring out his timing and where he likes to get the puck and things like that. But as for my game, I think that I'll bring that same level of intensity and competitiveness, and I'm excited to see how it works.
There's a lot of similarities between the Leafs and the Oilers, is they have these young, high-end talents, but they're having trouble breaking through the first round of the playoffs. Do you see those similarities, and how do you see you know, the addition of you and Fogle and those guys helping the Oilers get through that glass ceiling? Yeah,
there definitely are parallels for sure. I think just from a hunger standpoint, I think that, you know, this young group is hungry to win, and that's kind of the same situation I was coming from in Toronto, where we were coming off a bunch of first-round disappointments, and no different than here with the losses to Chicago and Winnipeg. The group wants to take the next step and is eager to take the next step. So that's why I was also excited to kind of come into a situation that I'm familiar with, where like I said, I was coming off of those first round exits too, and I think that I think I'm excited about the, you know, aside from myself coming here, I'm excited about the other moves and the other acquisitions that Ken made, and it makes for a really exciting group, and I think that we have a really good chance this year.
Ryan Rashog from TSN. Just following up on that a little bit, I was going to ask what you sense from the guys that have been here for a couple of years in terms of their sense of urgency.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's, it starts with Connor, obviously, and his work ethic and drive, and just being able to get to know him a little bit, and same with Darnell. They both bring an elite work ethic and drive every day to the rink, and trying to better themselves in order to better the team. And I've only been with the team now for a couple weeks, but definitely sense the urgency to win, and I think that the group is a really hungry group, and a group that's not satisfied with just making the playoffs.
Right shot, left winger. How does that, shooting that way, playing with a skilled center, how do you capitalize on that in the offensive zone, do you think?
Yeah, no, I played the left side. I play both sides, left side or right side, but I'm comfortable playing the left side. There's benefits to both sides, I find, but on the left side, obviously, picking pucks up the wall, I find is easier because you can come back into the zone and create space for your centerman. But in the offensive zone, obviously, being a one-timer threat is nice, especially when you have a passer like Connor, if I'm playing with him.
Hi, Zach Slav from Global Edmonton. You had a chance to train with some of the Oilers in the off season. Just being here now, has that made the adjustment coming here and being on the ice with the players a little easier for yourself?
Oh, definitely. It was so important for me. As soon as we made the move to Edmonton and signed the contract, I wanted to get to know the guys who were local in Toronto, and it just makes it such an easier transition because you already feel like teammates when you're training in the summertime, and there's 5 of us at the gym, which was great. So it definitely made it easier, and then have some familiar faces who I've played with in the past, and Cody Ceci and Tyson Barrie, who are also here. So it's been an easy transition for me so far.
And being with a new team, are you placing more value on training camp than maybe, with a team that you've been with for several years, just in terms of some of the things you talked about in terms of getting adjusted to teammates? Are you placing more value on training camp? Definitely.
I think just, getting to know teammates, getting to know tendencies from a player standpoint, but then also from a coaching standpoint, learning the structure that Tip wants to play with, and learning the special teams and things like that are going to be definitely important for me in this training camp.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Zach, one more question here. Jim Matheson, you were at Michigan when Red Berenson was the coach. Was he a tough love coach?
No, Red was incredible. He's probably one of the most influential people in my career. When you're a 19-year-old kid and you walk on campus and you have this Hall of Fame legend kind of staring at you with a stern face, it's definitely a different feeling. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm never going to be more intimidated than I am right now as a 19-year-old kid with Red Berenson staring at you. And you hear all the stories about how he just has a look on the bench, doesn't have to say much, he just kind of looks at you. And I definitely, in my first couple of years, experienced that look. No, he, like I said, he was one of the most influential people in my career, and I have a lot of respect for him, and really thankful for him.
Did he tell you when you were playing there and not playing very much the first couple of years you could still be an NHL player?
Yeah, he definitely did. I think he still had kind of belief in me and my ability, but he was somebody. I went into college as a prolific scorer, and he really helped me mold my game into a 200-foot game, and really taught me the defensive side of the game, and how to PK and block shots and all of that stuff. So. He never lost faith in my game throughout, the first couple of years I wasn't really producing, and then my junior and senior year kind of took off on the offensive side.
Hi, Zach, just one more here. When a player signs a big long-term contract with a new organization, I wouldn't say pressure maybe, but a lot of scrutiny. Are you comfortable with the weight of that, or are you able to compartmentalize business and hockey?
Yeah, no, I'm really comfortable with it. For me, I'm somebody who brings the same work ethic and competitiveness every day. Since I was a rookie playing my first game to to today. So for me, it's just about going out there and playing, and it's something that I love to do. And pressure and expectations come with success, and as you continue to grow and develop as a player and a person, the expectations get higher, no different than as a team. When you continue to have success and grow, then the expectations from a team standpoint get higher. So I'm comfortable and I'm excited.
Zach, we'll take 2 questions from the Zoom. Jason
Okay.
Berger, TSN 1260. Hey Zach, welcome to Edmonton. Your style of play, you've been, you're very good at forechecking, creating turnovers, and everything like that. In 17 and 18, you did miss a game. The last 3 years, I know COVID was part of it. You missed, I think, 25 or 28% of the games. Was that due to your style of play? Is it freak injuries? What do you make of, the games missed the last few years? Is there anything you can do to lower those numbers?
Yeah, no, I think obviously in 2019 I tore my ACL. It was kind of a freak play, and I missed games in that season just from a recovery standpoint. And then after that, when I came back, I played the rest of the year. And then last year I got hit on a knee, which was kind of a fluky one-off, I would say. But no, I'm excited. I keep my body in pretty good shape, and I'm pretty confident in my body and my game, and feeling really good going into camp, feeling really good going into this year, and definitely the goal is always to play the full 82, but you can't account for certain things. It's hockey, and injuries happen.
Last question, Kerry Jones, Post Media.
Yes, whoops, got me?
Yep.
Just, can you go into the idea, it's a new set of eyes here. Can you speak to the anticipation level that you might have, you might see your teammates having rather, with all the changes and upgrades that have been made, and also just the idea of getting back and playing in front of fans again?
Yeah, no, I think the team's very excited and very motivated. This year especially, it's obviously my first year here, but just getting to know the guys, I think that there's some solid confidence amongst the group and the players that are here and the players that were brought in. So I think that it's a great group. And then as for fans, I think everybody's just extremely excited to have fans back in the stands. Especially the players that played in the North Division. We didn't have any fans really in the stands the whole year, so for us, it's going to be extremely exciting.
Thank you, Zach.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Good to meet everybody. Appreciate it.